Hello everybody, got a video here. I got an Intech 21 horsepower V-twin. It's a Briggs Stratton motor. And I wanted to do a video on it to show you guys how to take the covers off and set the ignition coil apart. So we're going to get started on this. This motor is actually junk. It's got a hole in the side of the block where the rods actually went through it, and you turn it the one way, it's got no compression really, and I'll try to get the camera down there on it better, but it don't have any compression there, and you get so far and it won't go. But you turn it the other way, you can turn it all day long. But it does have a big hole in the side of the block over here. I can stick two of my fingers in it easily. So what we'll need first on this here one is a 3/8 socket and ratchet. Or you can use a little impact like this. These bolts on this cover you don't have to take all the way out. Just loosen them up. See, and we got to take the air cleaner off of it, which is just these here two screws, and that'll come up off there. And you got the air filter. And we also got to take this here little guard off the top of it. And that is a 5/16. And there's 4 screws in it. Got a few cobwebs on the top of it there. And on the other side over here is another one, like a screw right behind the fuel line, so you might have to take the fuel line loose on it, but we'll try to get it without doing that. Wish I could get a better view of it here for you guys. Maybe I can turn it around. But the other one's right behind here, so you got to go behind that line. If you go at an angle, you barely can get on it, but I did get it. After you do that, you can pull the top off of it and lay it to the side. You got 2 coils on this one here and that one, so you gotta set them both when you do them. And I suggest too, after you take them loose, to take like a piece of sandpaper or a wire brush or something and clean the rust off of them if yours has any on it, and clean it off of the flywheel where the magnet part is the main concern, because that's what tells the coil to fire, and the magnet in that. So. And these should be 5/16. Yep. I don't mind using a little impact on it to take these screws out here, but I would say when you put them back in to use a little ratchet. That way you don't over tighten them and break them, because if you break these off in the little ears that's on here, and it's a pain in the butt to drill them back out or try to get them out with a little easy out. And always lay these somewhere and don't lose them. I've done that a time or two. But you can take a little wire brush and clean that up, or you can take a little die grinder also and use that on it. So we are gonna get my little sanding pad here and for my angle grinder. I got this here, and I got a little sanding pad on it here. It works really good on them too. Just taking, knock the rust off of them. You also want to clean these hair parts. I usually do it right where the bolts make contact at, and on the bottom side too of them. And you may also want to take and hit these hair little lobes a little bit. And like I said, on this here, you got the part right here, that's the magnet, and you'll want to take in, as you can see, the little screw will stick to it if it's picking it up on camera or not. So just take and clean that up a little bit. And after you get that cleaned up, you can go ahead and stick that back down here. You can set these with a business card, or you can get you a little filler gauge, and I'm setting it at 10 thousandths, and that's plenty, and it'll work. There's probably a different setting for it if you get online and look, or have a book on it, but I usually do them at 10 thousandths or 15 depending on which motor, or you can just use a business card like I said, and I've never had an issue out of using them. So and just try to get that around there close to where it goes. The magnet on this will draw it up to it, so you don't really have to hold it in place. And you do want to, when you take these off, make sure you put the coil back on the right direction. You don't want it flipped over. Some of them's very partial that you got to have the top or the bottom. And go ahead and take a little ratchet. Snug that up a little bit. And go ahead and tighten it up. You don't want to do it too tight. Like I said, you don't want to break them up in there. And once you get that done, you can go ahead and take your filler gauge back out. And always, after you get it done, I always go back and I check to make sure that this will turn around freely and not hit, because if it hits on this and you crack these ears off and your block's junk, after that you can't fix it. So always double check by hand, make sure they're not hitting, and go from there. And you do the same thing on the other side here. On this one you do the same thing on it. And after that, just everything goes back on in reverse here. So sometimes getting these to slide on like they go can be a little tricky. And it's catching on this side over here on the metal. Want to take this bolt all the way out of it. There we go. Now to get the bolts started back. And just make sure it's down all the way, run your bolts back in. And you got your little cover here that goes back on it. Once you get one of these started, it's easier to get the rest started in. These ones, I used a little impact on it because if you break these off or strip them, they're not as important as the other ones are in there. And just run it down just barely, so it'll stay on there and keep people from sticking their hands down in there or fingers. And you just got your filter, put it back after you blow it out or change it. On this here, there's two little parts back here and there's ears on it that it catches on. And that's all there is to setting the air gap on this here V-twin Intech motor. It's pretty simple, basic. Like I said, you can use a business card on them. It's not that big of a deal. It's just for riding mower. It's not spaceships. No biggie, right? It don't have to be perfect, but close is good. So don't forget to like my videos, comment, subscribe, hit the notification button, and have a great day, everybody, and take care. Bye.